Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, guys.
Morning, morning, sir. I'm about to get things started here. Um, I'm gonna hop out to this little presentation that I've done before with you guys. Um, it's been a while since I've done this one. I'm not gonna do the full thing. I just really want to go over fundamentals and strategies and just get into this the whole psychology of an entrepreneur. And so look, we're all entrepreneurs here. When you start your own business, whatever type of business it is, you become an entrepreneur and you have to have an entrepreneur mindset. I've talked about the mindset of an employee. It's very different than the mindset of an entrepreneur. An employee is exchanging time for money, but an entrepreneur is exchanging their basically it they're making the sacrifices necessary so they can go ahead and create a better life for themselves. Alexa, stop. And so when it comes down to that, the entrepreneur has to have a very different mindset than compared to the employee mindset. And so I really want to talk about that mindset here and a couple of strategies we have to we can apply uh, as an entrepreneur to basically maximize our production in our business. And it's more than production. The entrepreneur mindset understands that your personal life and your business life are together. The more you develop and grow as an individual, the more your business reflects that growth in you. This is the truth of life. Everything around you that begins to expand and grow is a cause of you. It's because you yourself are growing internally. Your external world is just a reflection of the internal world. And entrepreneurs, at least I believe that the successful entrepreneurs understand this, that they're in control in creating what they're creating, especially when it comes down to their business. So let's get into fundamentals. So I've talked about this many times. How does the mind work? Why does it even matter? You know, when it comes down to this, we've talked about many times that even if you know everything about real estate, you know how to write offers, you know how to negotiate, you know all the processes of real estate, the title work, the lending side, everything. You know everything about real estate, but you don't have the psychology to go out there and be successful, you're not going to be successful. Success is 80% psychology, 20% strategies and mechanics. This is from Tony Robbins, right? And this is something I preach a lot, and I believe this because I've seen the difference in my own life. And the truth is, the more you develop the courage and the self-confidence and the strong personality that you need to go out there and be successful, the mindset of a successful person, that's what actually determines success. It's not so much the strategies and mechanics. That helps. But again, the hardest part is the psychology. It's easy. I can teach you guys how to write an offer. Easy, done. But to get you guys to believe in yourself, now that's the challenge, right? So let's talk a little bit about the mindset and how it works. And again, a lot of stuff that I've already preached many times. There's two gifts from the Creator. Now, I don't know what you believe spiritually, religiously, whatever. I was born into a Catholic family. My mom was still is a very dedicated Catholic. I don't really consider myself Catholic, right? Um, we go to a Christian church every Sunday, at least most Sundays. My wife and I, we take our son. It's amazing. They sing, they worship, and they talk about the Bible. I think it's awesome. But if I really analyze my beliefs about God and about reality, it doesn't really fit with the Christian's understanding of reality. And so, am I really a Christian? I wouldn't consider myself Christian personally. Though even though I go to a Christian church, but I don't necessarily go there because I believe I'm Christian. I go there because the energy there is amazing, and sometimes the messages are very powerful. Something that I need. So from my understanding of the creator is this is that when we were created in the image of God. It doesn't mean that we look like God. It means that we have the power to create like God. Every single one of us, we are individual expressions of divine consciousness, individual expressions of the Godhead, right? You and I and all of us, we are actually tethered and connected to divine consciousness now, even though it seems that we're disconnected from it all. We're not. Okay. And so the power to create is within all of us. And again, this actually proves to me, at the very least, that we're all equal. Not in the eyes of God. We were all literally created equal with the same amount of power to create. The potential I possess to create, and the potential that you possess to create, and the potential that everybody else possesses that to create is actually boundless and infinite. The difference is how much of the potential are you tapping into? That's the difference. So successful people are tapping more into that potential than someone who isn't successful. That's the difference there. It doesn't mean that the person who's successful has more potential. That's not fact. That's not the truth. At least that's not my understanding of reality. The person who's not tapping in to as much potential as somebody else is gonna create the results that they're gonna create based on the amount of potential they're gonna tap into. And we have boundless potential, people. I mean, you can only imagine what you can create. Now it's just a matter of getting yourself to believe that you can tap more of this potential. What holds you back is your belief system. You have beliefs that you're not worthy, you're not capable, it's not possible. You have to work on those beliefs. Okay, so the power to create is within all of us. It's a gift from our divine Creator, from God, and we all possess it. And we have free will, right? Meaning that you can take this power and you can create whatever it is that you choose to create with it. We're not like the animals out there who have certain programming where they follow their instincts and follow these specific behaviors, and that's it. We're different for that reason. The free will makes us different than animals. We can live beyond our instincts, right? And it's done purposely. So the question is, what are you going to use this the free will to create? What are you going to use this power to create, right? Some people will create great things, some people won't. So the main thing here is for you, figure out what you really truly want to create for yourself and create it. Because the truth is, that's what you got to do, you know? And so this is how it works here. Now, when it gets into the mind, this is how the mind works. We talk about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, right? So the conscious mind is 10%. It makes up about 10% of your reality. This is willpower, short-term memory, logical thinking, critical thinking. This is like if you're listening to me right now, you are consciously listening to me. You're using your conscious mind to listen to my words, to look at these images, right? Everything that's on the computer screen is like the conscious mind of the computer screen, and everything in its hard drive, it's in the subconscious mind, right? That's how it works in our mind. The computer is literally designed after the human mind. And so 10% of your reality is made up by your conscious mind. You have to consciously take control of the information you want to be exposed to. And you also have to consciously take control of the thoughts you're having. Because when it comes down to the subconscious mind, 90% of your thoughts, actions, and the words you speak and the emotions you feel are dictated by the subconscious mind, which means that if you're triggered, usually when you're triggered, a program is ran through the subconscious mind, right? Say for instance, somebody does something and it makes you angry. It means it triggered you, and now you're running a program subconsciously that you're angry. But if you're conscious of it, say for instance, you know you get angry easily, right? Like for me, I get kind of pissed off when my technology doesn't work when it should work properly, right? I have a new phone, it should work. And there's no reason why it shouldn't work. And if it doesn't work, I get really upset, right? And it's not something that I'm proud of. I don't
Feel
want
you
to
on
get
that.
upset. Oh, is that Kia?
I said I'm guilty of that
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
think a lot of us are. And like I don't want to get upset with this thing. So what I've been doing lately, consciously, okay, when it doesn't function the way I want it to function, maybe it loses signal, whatever. That I think that's just me telling myself to take a break. So I'll get up and I'll just take a break, as opposed to yelling at my phone, "Come on, work! What's wrong with you?" Because that's just a waste of time. It's not going to fix the phone, right? So I have to consciously do that, because if I don't, what's going to happen? Since subconsciously I'm triggered by technology not functioning because I believe it should function, and if it doesn't function, it's very frustrating for me. It'll run that program and I'll get pissed off, and it's not going to serve me. And it's something that I need to change. So this is how it works when you're changing subconscious beliefs. And this is your beliefs, emotions, habits, values, protective reaction, long-term memory, imagination, intuition, These beliefs fabricate almost all of your reality. Okay. So the truth is, everything you've created up to this point in your life, you've created most likely at a subconscious level, because you're going to most likely manifest what you subconsciously believe you're supposed to create in your life, or you believe that you deserve in your life, right? And so, if you, in order for you to change your life and change the results you're gonna establish in the future, therefore you have to change what you believe at a subconscious level. And the truth is, there really is no other way. Like, I wish there was an easier way, because this is kind of difficult to do, because this is kind of like you versus you, right? It's like, all right, I have to change these beliefs, but you resist, right? You're resisting constantly, and you feel the resistance, and that's where the frustration comes, and that's where the challenge comes. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you can establish some beliefs at a subconscious level that serve you, empower you, inspire you, motivate you, you can really change your life. And you can really shift your life into a better reality, because you're changing what you believe internally, and it begins to reflect externally. Your external world is just a reflection of your internal world. So if you can improve on these beliefs that you have at a subconscious level, and you can put beliefs that I'm, I'm I'm confident, I'm strong, I'm consistent, I'm disciplined, I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm an amazing person. I live in abundance of wealth, abundance of happiness, abundance of health. And you start just really hammering these beliefs into your subconscious, you eventually begin to live this way. Okay. And you start creating a reality around you which reflects more of what you intend to create and what you want. This is how you change your life. This is how you improve your life for yourself and for your family, right? And you can be an example for your family so they can start adopting the same beliefs that you have, right? This is
Also,
the
if
sub.
I could,
Oh yeah, go ahead,
so
Dan.
if I could just add to that, shadow work, if anybody has heard of what shadow work is, it's a great way to kind of uncover this beliefs that you have that you sometimes don't even realize that you have because they are on your subconscious. So just doing that shadow work and getting that out helps so that all this new information that you're putting in is able to actually stick if you are able to take out whatever you don't need anymore.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. See, I
Yes.
told you she was going to be a good addition.
That's fun.
Yes. Awesome. Continue. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Thank you. Thank you. Anytime anybody wants to chime in, just go ahead. Just chime in. Just let me know, because if not, I'll be talking forever. Anyways, so let's get into a couple of things. So I do affirmations on a daily basis, right? These affirmations I use is, like I said, like I am strong. I'm confident. I believe in myself. These are just affirmations. I'm worthy. I'm capable. It's possible. God always provides. These are affirmations that the reason I do them is because I want to program myself at a subconscious level, or in other words, brainwash myself. Me in control of the brainwashing, not my environment, then I can go ahead and program myself to believe what I want to believe, as opposed to having the environment continuously programming me, right? Because the environment isn't looking out for my best interest, right? I'm looking out for my best interest, and I must take control of this. So you can write these things down. My external world is just a reflection of my internal world, right? The more you can can improve yourself at a personal level, at a subconscious level, at an energetic level, more of that reflects around you as you continuously improve. Your life improves. It reflects that. You'll see it, right? We see it in successful people. We see it in happy people. It's like, wow, they have an awesome life, right? Like, it's amazing. So the second one is, what my subconscious believes, it will manifest. Again, I wish I can tell you you manifest what you believe at a conscious level, and to a certain extent you do, but if you don't change it at a subconscious level, what you believe at a subconscious level will continuously manifest. All right? So this is why you have to be, and I'll get to the next part. You have to be repetitive with this. You have to do it daily. So the next part here is our beliefs. All right, so I'll jump into this part. This part's good. What molds our beliefs, right? And it's the environment. Sorry. What makes up the environment? So when I talk about the environment, I'm not talking about like the environment, like the forest, or the jungle or anything like that, right? I'm literally talking about our environment, the environment that you exist in, the environment that the information that you're continuously being exposed to around you, right? It's not what you want to be exposed to, or sometimes you choose to be exposed to this information, but it's just what's going on around you, right? We've been exposed to this environment ever since we were born into our existence here, right? And so whatever that environment is and you were raised in, especially as a child, man, it can really make have an impact on the child's mindset, on the overall future and well-being of that child. And so what makes up our environment? We're going to go through this. This is just a couple of things that I note here, but there are more things that you can be added to this list. But the first one is definitely family and friends. Look, we talked about this many times. You are the average of the five people you hang out with. So you are the average of their income. You are the average of their mindset. You are the average of their health. You are the average of their relationships, or at least the quality of their relationships. You are the average of this stuff. So you have to really pay attention to the people you hang out with. This is important. Look, we all know we've all been exposed to negative people, right? And we all know how just one negative person can really spoil the environment for everybody else, even though the other people aren't negative, right? But if you are aware of this, you can detach yourself or at least disconnect yourself with the negative people. And these are the people who are negative in their mindset. These are people who are continuously putting you down, saying that you can't do this, or saying that, that's a stupid decision. Like they're basically trying to put their judgment of of themselves onto you. Anytime you put out criticism, it's very destructive. But you have to understand, it's more destructive to the individual who's putting out the criticism. Because the universal laws is cause and effect. Whatever you put out into the world actually comes back to you. So when you're around these people, or when you have to be around these people, you want to minimize your conversations with them. You want to keep your distance from them because their aura is negative and it will affect yours. Okay, no matter how strong-minded you are, it will affect you. It will have some impact on you. So you keeping your distance is the best option. If you have to be around them, keep those conversations minimal. The second it becomes negative, you want to just cut the conversation short. Oh, I got to go use the restroom. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. I'll be right back. Just get the hell out of there, right? And trust me, these are strategies I know because I've used these strategies, right? And it works. Trust me, it really does. And then the more you do that, the more they kind of see, well, this person's different. They don't want to be talking about this stuff, and they kind of just stay away from you. And eventually, what happens is that you stop attracting these types of people into your life, and you start attracting more people like yourself into your life that with your mindset and you having these great conversations with people. I attract awesome people all the time, and I don't mean to. I just kind of like I'm in an airplane and I'm sitting next to a guy and we're talking about cool ass stuff. It's crazy, and I usually don't like speaking to people. I'm an introvert, but if I can have a great conversation with somebody, I'll do it. Right. So pay attention to the people you hang out with. Okay, you want to surround yourself with great people. Now, if you don't have the option to surround yourself with great people, if you have a lack of great people to surround yourself with in your life, then start reading books of great people. Okay, start listening to their speeches on YouTube. Right, start just somebody. It was Anthony Robbins, Les Brown, Wayne Dyer. Like, there's so many people. There's tons. There's Jim Rohn. Right, there's tons of amazing people out there with great books that you can read and expose yourself to. Like, like I've never met Tony Robbins, but in my mind, he's my best friend, right? Because he's taught me everything, and so that's just how I am. So that's like one of my buddies that I hang out with, even though I've never met the guy, right? I've been to some of his seminars, but I mean that's just me. Who cares? I created in my own head because those are the type of friends that I want to have personally, right? You guys are pretty cool too, though. I'm just kidding. So the next one is music. So this is a deceptive one because music's always playing everywhere you go. If you're watching a film, there's music always playing, right? When you're watching a TV show or a film, if you go to the mall, Starbucks, any restaurant is playing music, and you don't really know what type of music they're playing. Now, here's the thing about music. Some of this music, if you really listen to the lyrics, it's very destructive. It's very negative, and you have to like um identify that because a lot of people just really don't, you know? It's about heartbreak or betrayal or cheating on each other or alcohol or drugs or promiscuity, right? Or if you get into like hardcore rap, man, those guys rap about some hardcore shit. They really do about murder and drugs and drug dealing. It's terrible, right? This absolutely has an impact on your subconscious, okay? You have to understand this. I think this is a hard one for a lot of people because, oh, I don't really listen to the lyrics, I listen to the beat. I get it, but you have to understand something. Your subconscious is still absorbing all of the information, okay? It's still absorbing the lyrics, by the way. So I understand you like the beat, but the lyrics are still hitting you. And then the frequencies at which they play this music as well is a frequency that's not harmonic to our energies. And that's a little bit beyond this, but it is true, and it's done purposely, in my opinion. Right?
You know what? It's something that I've heard that I think is really funny when I tell people about this is that they're like, "Well, it's not like I'm gonna go like work at a strip club or I'm not gonna go like sell drugs and stuff." I'm like, the point of the music and what they're making you feel is this power, like this ego power that you're trying to just like be the best, the better, the like the one that doesn't get hurt, the one that doesn't like and it's like at the end of the day you're training your subconscious to just have this power mentality where like there's no space for love and then we just feel like we can't be vulnerable, we can't be like like you always have to be the alpha and like have to be kind of watching your back at all times, so you're always having this survival on the go, and I don't think
Yeah.
people pay attention to that part.
No, that's just it. They don't, and I know like this is a hard one for a lot of people, you know. And so most of the music I listen to is just instrumental, whether it's Baroque classical music or just instrumental like rock music or whatever. That's all I listen to. I rarely listen to music with lyrics. And trust me, I grew up loving music. Okay, I used to go to concerts all the time. It was one my thing, right? That's what I did. But nah, I can't do it anymore, bro. I had to sacrifice that. And it's worth it, trust me. Because look, if we're telling you here that by removing this right here, because you have control of this. I can't control what type of music you listen to, but you can. But by removing this, you improve the overall quality of your life for yourself and for your family. Isn't that worth it? I mean, it is worth it, right? I
Yeah.
don't, right? Like it is worth it. So do it, you know?
Mhm.
This is another big one, people. This is TV shows and movies, bro. Like, and I know it's hard for a lot of people because a lot of people love their freaking shows and love their movies. I do too, trust me, okay? But I have to filter through this stuff so much. Like horror movies, I will never watch a horror movie ever again in my life. I don't think I've watched a horror movie for like over like maybe like I don't know, 12, 13 years now, you know? Um, Horror movies are terrible. Stay away from them. All right, please, because they put you in a state of fear. Again, when you're in a state of fear, you're vibrating at this frequency of fear. You're putting out a magnetic field of fear, and you're attracting that shit into your life, bro. You're like, that's what's happening. Like this is, you guys know how it works. So get away from that. All the suspension and everything. I know it's great. I mean, trust me, I love action movies and everything. I grew up with films. We all have. We all love it. But man, there's subliminal messages that they put in there. One, two, the emotions that they move you towards, which is emotions of like anxiety, stress, and everything that get you vibrating at those frequencies that you don't want to actually feel, but you're feeling because you're going through the motion of the character in the film or the TV show, or whatever. Those shifts in emotions. If those aren't emotions that you really want to attract into your life, then stop watching it. Again, isn't it worth it to discard this even though you love it so much, to discard this and improve the overall quality in your life by improving the quality of information that goes into your mind? Absolutely. Most of the films and TV shows they put out there, it's straight up garbage. So stop watching it. Watch things that serve you. Like I'm like, do I really want to watch this film? Like I watch reviews and like everything. I'm like, do I really want to watch this film? And like if I determine like, no, I don't want to, then I just won't, right? And so I know these are kind of tough ones, but this is just a reality of the situation we live in.
Yeah.
The news.
My
Oh,
kids
did you
get
have
so mad.
what was that?
My kids, they get so mad because I won't watch scary movies anymore. And they're like, oh, but it's not even that scary. I'm like, no, I'm good. It's okay. Thank you. No.
I get it. Hey, it's true, but you know, like it's kind of funny because when I was a kid, our mom used to rent these films. Like we would go to the library, she'd get these, VHS films. That's how old I am, right? I'm almost 40. Um, and so VHS films, and she like rent them and everything, and Amityville Horror, Child's Play, all those horror movies. And when we tell her, like now, my mom used to rent us these films of horror movies when we were kids, and she gets so mad. I never did that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bullshit, bro. How did she forget this? Like, this she freaking rented these films from us. But anyways, the next part here is the news. I've talked about news. Stop watching the news, people, please. It's either straight up lies or straight up exaggeration. They're not informing you, they're just trying to put you in a state of fear. And they're trying to paint a picture of destruction and apocalypse for us so we can believe in this future so we can then manifest it. Stop believing in it. Focus on heaven on earth and manifest that. Bring that into your own reality. And as we can do it as a collective, we actually usher in heaven on earth as a population. And I really do believe this more than anything. Okay. So the news, absolutely. Find some news feeds that actually give you accurate information. I just don't pay attention too much. I just kind of pay attention to what's going on in the market, things like that. But overall stuff, I don't know what to believe anymore. It really, that's how confused I am with the news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marketing, whew, this is another one. Why do you buy the stuff you buy? You know, like for me, the car market that I really like Mazdas, and if once I get into like higher, um, more expensive cars, I'll probably end up going with Mercedes. And then if beyond that, I'll probably more Maseratis. Like I already got this now, but I feel like I've consciously chosen this. But I know marketing got me eventually, right? It's like so I trust those brands for I don't know whatever reasons. But the things you buy, why do you buy them, right? I mean, marketing's around us all the time. If you watch TV when you were a kid, commercials wasn't something you can just kind of like skip through. Commercials, you would have to watch the commercials, right? And I hate commercials. Trust me. That's why if I watch something, I watch it on Netflix or whatever. I don't watch television, right? But marketing's all around us. Billboards. When you go walk into a supermarket or a store of any kind, marketing is everywhere. The colors and everything and the all that stuff. It's happening. You want to consciously choose what you're going to purchase. This is my advice to you. Consciously choose quality and price because most of the stuff that you're marketed, especially when they're putting billions of dollars into it, is probably some of the worst products you put into your body or be exposed to. Okay, because again, these companies put a ton of money into it so they can make a lot of money, but they usually put out some of the worst products. Like for instance, McDonald's. If you think McDonald's is food, oh my God, you're in for a big surprise. It isn't food, people. I saw this video on TikTok. This guy had molten copper, like melted copper. It was like thousands of degrees of Fahrenheit to actually melt copper. And they had a McDonald's Big Mac, and they literally poured this stuff over the McDonald's Big Mac. It didn't even melt, people. It didn't melt. It blew my mind. I was like, what's happening? Like any other thing, that molten copper would have burned right straight through it. And you're putting this into your system. Just imagine what it's doing in there.
It doesn't grow mole. Have you seen the videos where they're like leave the burger out for like so long and like they compare it to this other food, right? And it doesn't grow mold. Like it doesn't go bad. It's like food goes bad. Like it just does.
Oh
Exactly.
my
Right?
gosh. I don't even eat that, but that's disgusting.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's you guys should do it just like for the fun of it. Go buy a burger and leave it out. See how long it lasts before it starts actually growing anything. Like any kind of fungus. Fungus should come from like nature and like life, and it will not grow anything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've heard
Decomposition
the
is part of life.
heard the French fries are bad because of the oil and everything.
Yeah, the oil's terrible. You have some other ingredients in there too, but any seed oils, stay away from seed
Yeah,
oils. The oils you
absolutely.
want is avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, and virgin coconut oil. Those are the three you should only consume. Anything else, those types of oils that are refined, they're actually, from what I've seen, they're actually used for machines. They're not,
Yeah,
they're not actually for us to consume,
like
and they're
petroleum.
terrible. Absolutely terrible. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot to learn with health too, all over the place. But pay attention to why you buy certain things. I say just question, why do I buy this toothpaste? Really? Is it because Colgate is the better toothpaste? No, it has fluoride. You should stay away from fluoride too. There's a lot of stuff. Again, there's a lot of information. I can't really cover all of it, but um, social media, absolutely. I sometimes I'll catch myself on TikTok for a bit, bro. Like I'm guilty of it, and I get pissed off with myself. I'm like, dude, stop, right? But social media, absolutely. The information you come across social media definitely has an impact. I saw that video for the McDonald's burger with the copper, melted copper. I saw it on TikTok. So, so yes, pay attention to that. Pay attention to how much time you're spending on social media. It's so easy just to scroll, and get that dopamine like hit every time you find something that catches your attention, right? It's, oh my God, it just made it way too easy. It's incredibly addictive. And so you have to really pay attention to not just the information you're exposed to, but how long you're exposing yourself or on social media, right? Your workspace, right? Absolutely. The people you work with. I was in the army for 6 years, you know, and oh my God, there's some negative, toxic people in that organization, right? And I'm sure in any organization, but I really had to I would have to just like leave and get away from those people and like, get my mind like just settled because being around that type of energy is really destructive for me. And I understood this when I got into the military, and so I knew how to deal with it. But a lot of people don't. They kind of they caught up with the negative, right? And they become like them. And what's terrible is that we have a lot of leaders in the military that are incredibly negative. And then you have soldiers coming under them and they see the leader being negative, and you know what happens is that they think, oh, that's how you're supposed to be. So that's how they become. And they become these toxic, negative people, negative leaders. And it's incredibly destructive for the military, in my opinion. It's just something that I'm really against, and I hope it can change. But the workspace, absolutely. This is why here at U First Unity, I really do my best to create an environment where you guys are comfortable to reach out to me, where I'm comfortable talking about this type of information and discussing this type of information that is important. Schools, yep, schools, absolutely, right? Whether it's elementary school, middle school, high school, college, whatever. The environment in these places absolutely have an impact on your subconscious. There's a great comedian, I can't remember his name, but he was talking about his daughter. It's like, my daughter, I love my daughter. I raised her and everything. And then, like I worked really hard to get her into this school, and I sent her to the school, and she was out. She comes back to me, and she hates everything. She hates me. She hates everything. Everything I do, everything I say is racist and prejudice and everything. I was like, what did they do to my daughter? Like what the like I paid all this money so they can turn my daughter into this hateful person. Like this is what he was saying, in a comedic way, of course, right? It was funny, but it was also really messed up. But it's the truth. Like these environments, these schools really have an impact on people's beliefs. And so you have to be very careful where you go to school, where you send your children to school. You know, you're better off just homeschooling for the most part, in my opinion. And then where you grew up in the world too. So I grew up in Los Angeles, California, very different than the way it is here in Colorado. I lived in Alaska for 3 years because the military sent me out there. Very different lifestyle in Alaska than it is in Southern California, right? Phaedra was born in California, but she was actually raised in Mexico, near Mexico City, by her grandparents. She grew up in a completely different environment than I did, and you can see it in the way she views life, right? And so this is just my observation with her. But I mean, people who grew up in Africa are very different than the people who grew up in Mexico, that are very different than people who grew up in Canada, that are very different than people who grew up in Europe. Because why is that? Because the environment has a significant impact on you. And where you live and grow, your geographical location absolutely determines your overall environment that you're exposed to, which then changes or molds you into the person you are, the languages you speak, the culture or the lack of culture, right? And the cultures you actually are exposed to, foods, everything, right? All determined by what? Actually, where you grew up. Mexico loves spicy food. I know a lot of Colombians. They can't handle spice, right? They're not, it's not the same type of food. We speak the same language, but we have a very different type of culture, right? And so this is a big one here. So that's a couple of things about the environment, what makes up your environment, and how it actually impacts as has an effect on your subconscious mind. Okay, and we're all continuously being exposed to environmental information effects, environmental things. And some of this stuff is useful, but a lot of this stuff really doesn't serve you. So getting good at filtering this information, music, the movies and TV shows you watch, the people you hang out with, the type of music you listen, you watch or read, social media and so forth, choosing your schools wisely, whatever, right? Your professional environments at your where you work, absolutely start filtering these things out so you can expose yourself to more information that actually supports you, serves you, and empowers you, as opposed to exposing yourself to information that does the exact opposite. And so why, right? Why does this matter? Why control your thoughts? And or actually, who controls your thoughts, right? Is it you or is it the environment? So I kind of hit this before, but it's the truth. Like, look, if you're not in control of the thoughts that you have and the information you expose yourself to, then someone else is. And I'm going to tell you right now that someone else isn't looking out for your best interest, nor are they looking out for the best interest of your family. So you must start taking control of your thoughts, start taking control of the information you're exposed to in your environment. Like, start doing it. The power's in your hands, okay, people? Right here, the power is in your hands. It really is. Again, it's in your hands. I know you have uh, some some disempowering beliefs or beliefs that don't serve you right now, but you can consciously change that and then remove that negative energy and allow energy just to start flowing through you and allow it to be good energy. And so changing your life, right? Repetition, the key to changing your beliefs. If you want to change your life, you need to first change your beliefs at a subconscious level. And repetition is the key. Repetition is the key. Repetition is the key in getting your message across. It really is. Okay. This is why I do it every single day. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. About 20 years now. Yeah, it's been about 20 years. But I make sure that I'm in control. I'm in control of the thoughts that I'm having, and I'm in control of the information that I'm continuously being exposed to in my environment. So right here, I would do a story, but I'm going to skip the story and get the strategies. All right, so strategies. There's a couple of strategies that I've gone over with you guys before. That let's go ahead and repeat them and let's talk about the power that they have. Okay, so strategies that work. Number one, control what you focus on. Okay, so out of everything in your own reality, the only things that you can really control are your thoughts, emotions, and actions. That's it. You can't control what other people do. You can't control the weather. You can't control the government. You can't control the economy. You can't control anything else. Okay, you can't. You don't have any control of these things. You may have influence on these things, but you cannot control these things. But you can control the thoughts that you're having, the emotions you feel, and the actions you take. And this is how it works here. What am I going to think about? Right? Like, what do I really want to choose to think about? Hopefully, you guys are choosing to think about the words that I'm talking about here and what I'm presenting to you, right? And now, how does that make me feel, right? What do these thoughts make me feel? What emotions do I feel? And what does that make me want to do? What do the emotions drive me to do? The reason we take action is because we feel the emotion to take action, okay? Or the emotion not to take action, which is known as laziness, right? Lethargy. So you want you want to be aware of these things. A lot of people are just not. Again, if the environment can control your thoughts and emotions, and they can ultimately control your actions, okay? So again, if the environment can control your thoughts, which they control your emotions, that means that the environment is in constant control of your actions or inactions. So therefore, if you're in control of your thoughts and your emotions, that means that you're in ultimate control of your actions. And this is where I want you to get. I want you to get to this level where you know you're in control, right? And when you catch yourself kind of running on autopilot because the environment triggered something like, you know, your phone doesn't work, and you're like getting mad, then you're like, you catch yourself, like, wait a second, all right, I get it's not working. I need it to work right now, but I don't want to be getting pissed off every time my phone doesn't work. So what am I doing? I'm controlling my thoughts, right? And as a result, I'm controlling my emotions. And as a result, as opposed to getting pissed off with this thing, I am saying, well, I think I need to take a break, right? My phone's going to reconnect to the network. It always does. Let me just take a break. Let me just go take 5 minutes because I've been going at it for a couple of hours, and so yeah, I need a break. Maybe that's the signal. Maybe that's what you're telling yourself by you dysfunctioning your own phone. So that's how I'm going to start doing it. I'll let you know how it goes. So so right here, guys, this is the triad. Um, This is the trinity of focus, whatever you guys want to call this. But this is it. If you can control this, that's done. You are in control of your life, right? But if you don't, then someone else is in control of your life, and you have to start fixing that. So goals, right? Setting goals. When you're setting goals, and we'll go ahead and start setting goals as we get closer to 2024. I want to actually do this with you guys as a team. So you state what you want. Okay, what is it that you want? Say we're talking about your business, and you really want to close. I want to close at least 10 deals this year, right? Awesome, great. Why do you want to close 10 deals? Now, why do I ask this? It's because this is what's going to drive you to close 10 deals, right? If you close 10 deals, you can make whatever, if I can close 10 deals, man, I can make like around $70,000, $80,000 with those 10 deals. And that money might inspire you, right? And that inspiration can go drive you to take action. Again, without the emotion, you don't take actions. All actions are predetermined by emotion. Okay, all actions. If you really, if you get a little cold, well, you feel cold. If it's a feeling, you put a sweater on, right? If you're feeling hungry, you're feeling hungry. It's a feeling. You go eat, right? You're feeling anxious. You're feeling anxious. You're feeling uncomfortable. You get yourself out of that environment, or in that right there, you change your mental state and you feel strong, even though you're in an environment where you don't feel very comfortable. But you know that this isn't a good for you, and you need to actually get better at this, getting comfortable in this environment, such as making phone calls or going to your client's house and talking about real estate, right? And that can be very uncomfortable sometimes, right? Especially if you don't have the confidence yet or the knowledge yet to really do that. You can feel very, ugh. But you know you need to do it. So getting yourself out there and just doing it can help you build that confidence that you ultimately want to have. So then when you're in this environment again, instead of triggering feeling discomfort, you're triggering what? You're triggering this sense of power, this sense of control over your emotions, and you feel confident and you feel good. I can handle this. I've done it before, right? So this is why it's very important to figure out, why do you want it? Why do you want to make $100,000 a year? Why do you want to make $200,000 a year? What is it for? Right? For me, I know it's my family, right? I'm a man, and a part of being a man and being married and having children, a part of being like a masculine man is to take care of my family. Like, this is what I truly believe, and they are my drive. If I didn't have them, I don't think I'd be as inspired as I am doing what I do, right? And so I know I want to take care of them Fedra wants to go on vacation again. Like, yeah, I have to make more money, right? Which is it's good inspiration, right? That inspires her. She works hard. She deserves it, right? And so I do it for them. Right? I know that I do that. Obviously, some of it's for me, but I would always put them first because that's just who I am. This is how I'm designed to be. And so, and then the third one is make a plan, right? So the plan part, I really want to get this figured out with you guys as well when we're setting up goals for 2024, right? We'll do this together. It'll be fun. And then, so this is how you want to set goals. Figure out what you want. Like it is simple. You guys know what you want. I know you guys. I know y'all know what you want. I want to make money. Cool. Make it clear. I want to be making $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, 300,000. Like make it clear. Okay. I want to close more deals. No, make it clear. I want to close 20 deals, 30 deals next year, 40 deals next year. Right. Whatever it is, make it clear. And now figure out why it is that you want it. Well, if I close 40 deals, I can make, dude, I can easily make $300,000 closing 40 deals, maybe more, right? And that's exciting. 300, man, I've never made that much money in my entire life. That should excite you, right? And so what are you gonna do with this money? Right? And then we get into that. Like, you want to just spend it all? Because you could, right? If you're a Fedra can spend money like this, like that. And I have to like put a break on that, So you can spend it all, but what do you really want to create with that money? Well, I want to create wealth for my family. Okay, how do you create wealth? See how we're getting deeper? Well, you have to invest. Great. What type of investments you want to get to? I don't know. I don't know anything about investments. Awesome. Let's start doing research on investments, right? I mean, you work in real estate, maybe you can put some of the money into real estate. That's an investment, right? But you have many more. And so again, that's what I want to kind of go with you guys and then set up a plan, right? So setting goals. The next one is repetition, strategies of repetition. So here we go. This is something I like doing. I'm on and off with this stuff. I try to be as consistent as I possibly can. But this is the 369 rule. Okay, 369 are very powerful numbers. All right. If you really study numerology, you'll see how powerful these numbers are. These are divine numbers, especially the number 9. If you actually look at the number 9 and you see how it loops to the top part, it actually is referring to the upper chakras. The 6 refers to the lower chakras, right? And then you have 3, which is almost like a half of an 8, right? 8 is the infinite sign, right? These numbers all have like meaning and powers and everything. Numerology is, I think, a very interesting thing to study. If you guys want to Google numerology, you guys can study some of that stuff. But 369 are divine numbers. We want to work with these numbers. So in the morning, within 20 minutes after waking up, write your goals down, goal or goals 3 times. Read it, feel it, meditate on it for 5 minutes. So why are you doing this? What does it matter? Well, it does a couple of things. If when you wake up within the first 20 minutes, your mind is more receptive and more malleable. Okay, you can have more impact on your mind after when you first wake up. And so putting some like meditation stuff on, or maybe putting some uh, inspirational speeches on, whatever, can really help. But you getting focused on your goals can really uh, help you program your subconscious to believe in those goals, to feel those goals. So you want to write it 3 times, right? And you want to write it in the present tense, like I am a millionaire, right? Or I have millions of dollars of wealth and money flowing into my life, or whatever it is. I am strong and healthy and fit. I weigh 120 pounds. I don't know, whatever the goal is, right? You do it 3 times. If you're gonna have a couple of them, that's great. But if you have too many, you're going to be writing a lot, right? You're going to have, your hand's going to your hand's going to start hurting. You make sure to read it and feel it, right? You read it out loud and feel it, right? And then you meditate on it for 5 minutes, meaning like you want to like visualize it for 5 minutes. Just kind of visualize 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, just there. If you want to do it for 1 minute, go. Do you want to start with 1 minute because you can't do 5 minutes? That's fine. Start with 1 minute, but be consistent. In the afternoon, write it 6 times. Same thing, read it, feel it, meditate on it for a couple minutes. If it's just 1 minute you want to start with, 60 seconds, come on, you got 60 seconds, bro. All you guys have 60 seconds. 5 minutes, maybe no, but you probably have 60 seconds, right? So, and that's what you want to do in the afternoon. And at night, within 20 minutes before going to sleep, I usually just do this as I'm laying in my bed. I write it 9 times, read it, feel it, and then as I fall asleep, I'm meditating on it. And so I can fall asleep thinking, focusing on my goal or my goals, right? And this is a very powerful way to do a couple of things. One, you continuously stay focused on what it is that you want to create in your life, and you continuously feel it. And on top of that, you begin to attract into your life opportunities to start creating this. As long as you take advantage of those opportunities and you capitalize on those opportunities, you can create the results that you want. This is a very powerful way to manifest. I know that a lot of successful people use a certain type of version of this. I know writing it down is something they do a lot. Whether they do it 3, 6, 9, I know a lot. Some people do. Some people have different methods. You can modify it the way you want to. But 3, 6, and 9 are some powerful numbers. You want to work around those numbers. And then analysis, self-analysis, okay? So this is the big part. This is a huge strategy for most people. Most people don't do this. Most people don't really analyze themselves and ask themselves why they feel what they feel. This is a great way of doing self-therapy. Can you go to a therapist? Of course you can, but I don't really feel it to be necessary personally, right? I've never been to therapy personally, but I know a lot about these certain strategies that therapists use because I've studied Tony Robbins and he teaches a lot of this stuff. But he takes therapy and he like puts it on steroids. That's how he does it. I can change your life today, not 3 months from now, like a lot of therapists do. 3 months from now, hopefully we have some good results for you. No, I mean we can change it right now for you. Let's go. That's his energy and power, right? That's his way of doing therapy. One session and I'll change you. That's how he does it. You can do it to yourself, people. You have the power, right? So it's simple. Self-analysis is really simple. It's just ask yourself a question, right? And then you receive an answer from your subconscious. Be quiet. The first image, words, phrase that come to your mind is usually the answer. And then ask yourself a follow-up question, right? When I first started real estate, this was back in 2019. I was still in the army for working full time. And I remember I had 3 clients in the car, and I was super excited. I was like, "Hell yeah, let's go! Let's show property and everything." And I was really happy. I was really excited. And then one of them couldn't qualify. The other person didn't want to buy. And then the other person, I don't know, disappeared. And I was like, "All right, cool, no problem. I'll just keep going." And then shortly after that, I had another 3 clients in the car, and I was excited. I was showing property, and I was trying to get them pre-approved and talking to the lender and everything. And the same thing happened. I lose all 3 of them for whatever reason. And I was like, that really devastated me. And I was really questioning if I should continue to do real estate. Like I was really this close of just quitting, right? And I remember this evening, I was pacing back and forth in our kitchen and living room. Fedra and Bryson were actually in Mexico visiting her family. And I was like, dude, why can't I get myself to just believe that I can do this? Like, what is holding me back? Why do I believe that I can't do this? Why do I believe that I'm not worthy of doing this? Like, I'm asking myself these questions because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to dig deep into my subconscious to figure out what the heck is going on here, right? Why, why am I doubting myself so much? And as I asked these questions, like, why do I believe that I can't do this? And I kind of just paused for a moment. And the image that came to my mind was my father. And so my dad, as I grew up as a child, I wanted to be like my dad. I loved my dad, right? But then around like 7, 8 years old, I realized that my dad wasn't a good dude, right? He wasn't a good father, he wasn't a good husband, he wasn't a good provider. And I made this commitment at that age that I'm not going to be like him. And so as I continued along my life, I saw my father struggle a lot with money. He'd have money, didn't have no money. He had money, he had no money. He was in construction. So in Los Angeles, he can be very busy sometimes and like make a lot of money, but every time he had money, he'd lose it all. Either people would scam him for it, people would borrow it and won't give him back. He'd spend it, he'd just get rid of it. He had something in his mind at a subconscious level that he believed that money made you a bad person. And that's not true, right? And so I saw this And so it's something that a pattern that I kind of picked up from my father. But I didn't I didn't realize until around that time, I was about 30 years old. But as a kid, I remember I didn't want to be like my father, and I was afraid that I'd become like him. I mean, I look like him, I talk like him, I have certain demeanors as him. It freaked me out. Like it was a real fear that I had, and it's something that bothered me for years, all the way up through my 20s. And I think I felt like I dealt with it around my mid 20s when I was getting really into personal development. But here I am, almost 30 years old, or about 30 years old. Actually, no, it was closer to me being like 36 years old. And I was like, I'm still dealing with this. Like, what the heck? Like, why am I afraid that I'll become like my father? Like, and it goes deeper. It wasn't necessarily my father, but it was a sense of worthlessness or this unworthiness that I had. That's what it's really rooted at. It's a fear that we all have, by the way. And so,
Question.
yes,
So have you ever looked into like family constellations?
no, never have.
Yeah, I started like, well, I've been looking at it for a minute now, but I think it's interesting your story because with family constellations, they look at patterns that come from like our generation patterns. And so I like now wonder if your relationship with money has a lot to do with like something that maybe had happened back in like, I don't know, your great grandfather or something like that, where sometimes they, like, let's say an ancestor had a company, right? And they put everything into this company, and for some reason, the company went bad or something happened where they lost it all. And so they created this fear that was transferred from generation to generation. And then here we are trying to build this company. And for some reason, our fear just keeps getting on the way. And it's something that we don't understand. It sounds a lot like what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And what's interesting is that uh, my grandfather, my dad's dad, he was actually very wealthy. He had a lot of businesses, owned a lot of real estate. His brothers as well. They were tailors, and tailor used to be a very lucrative skill back then, and also very not a very common skill. And it's not a very common skill now either. But um, my dad didn't really pick up any traits from my grandpa about that. My grandpa never really passed down those traits of working hard, of entrepreneurship and everything. My dad
Right.
was a free spirit type of person. He was also drafted to Vietnam, so he saw some weird stuff out there. So I know all that kind of affected him, and he was a big I want to say he smoked a lot of pot, but I'm not sure how that affected him overall. But I think what affected him more at psyche was probably Vietnam. I've heard of some stories of his Vietnam stuff, but not too much. But
Yeah. It'll be
but
interesting. Look into that family constellation and see if you like maybe we can. I've been trying to go to like some of like the talleres and like the workshops that they do. Um, but you find some interesting stuff about like your family during this time.
yeah, yeah, that's interesting. And the truth is, I don't know a lot of history about my family. I wish I knew more. It's more interesting as you get older. When you're a kid, I don't know, you don't really think about it personally, especially when you're a teenager because you just think about yourself. But but I remember at that moment, I was like walking through my home and I realized that, well, I love my wife and I'm a good father and I've been providing for my family the whole time. And I realized at that moment that I was nothing like my dad. And it just switched for me. Like it's just I was like, boom, that's exactly what I needed. And right there, bro, after that, I just started working my ass off. By April of 2020, I was out of the military. I was still in the military, but I was on my leave, so I could work full time real estate. And by the end of 2020, I closed 20 deals, and I made the most money I've ever made in my life up to that point. And it changed everything for me because I felt like, dude, I just need to let that go. Every now and then it does come up, it's still a fear that comes up every now and then, but it's nothing like it was back then. And again, I know it's not necessarily rooted to my father. It's more rooted to the sense of unworthiness, right? Because I find if you don't really feel that you're worthy of, say, financial success, I mean, it, it's not possible for you to create it. It's just not possible. And so we have to deal with these things. And self-analysis helps you kind of dig in to figure out what's really going on within you and within your own subconscious. All the power is within you to figure these things out and to remove these energies to allow that flow that you need to manifest, especially when it comes down to money. And so self-analysis is a great method to learn. But other than that, I mean, hey, I know that was kind of a long one, but um, you guys have any questions or comments or anything you guys want to add to that?